come?
Yes, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning,
Take your seat.
sirs. Thank you, sir.
You're Shivani.
Yes, sir.
Shivani, are you vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
The board members are also vaccinated. So you can consider removing your mask.
Yes.
Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Fine. To begin with, introduce yourself to board.
My name is Shivani, as you said rightly, and I belong to Muzaffarpur district of Bihar. I have done my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya and I graduated from BBK DAV College for Women in Amritsar. Thereafter, I have been preparing for civil services exam for past 4 years, and this is my third attempt in it. And my hobbies are jogging, making doodle art, and participating in quiz and essay competitions.
You completed your graduation in 2018.
Yes, sir.
And decided not to pursue your education any further.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Sir, I thought that for 1 year I will be preparing for civil services exam only, and then I will be attempting it. But unfortunately, I could not clear it for 2 times, and this is my third attempt. I have been preparing continuously for it only.
Your preparation is fine, but what it has to do with not pursuing your masters?
Sir, I thought of giving full-fledged focus on this only, and not diverting my focus on masters or any other.
Okay. Shivani, you're basically from Bihar, right?
Yes, sir.
But your education is from Punjab and...
Sir, actually my father was previously working in Indian Air Force. So my education has been from Agra, then in Amritsar. And yes, sir.
Okay. And you go by only the maiden name?
Yes.
I mean, if you feel like sharing, why is it so?
Sir, it was a choice made by my parents. My mother's name is also by her maiden name only. So my father decided to give that to me.
That's a wonderful idea actually, and as a matter of fact, even the Constituent Assembly dwelled upon it once, but unfortunately decided not to go for it. Do you believe that going by the kind of hatred on the caste line that is there in our country, it should be encouraged if not mandated?
Yes, sir, I definitely think so. I think it would be promoting equality only. We will have individual names and no caste, because most of the surnames are based on caste only. So it could be a good idea.
You have taken political science as your optional paper.
Yes.
You're coming from, you've stayed and lived in Punjab. Tell me, this Chandigarh issue, which is again in news, isn't it time when Haryana settles with Panchkula and the Punjab settles with Mohali, and let it be resolved for once and all?
Sir, I believe that Chandigarh has a historic place in both the states, and they share the assembly, the governor's house, and rest of their government there. So they both claim it equally, and Chandigarh already has UT status. In my opinion, it should remain like that. The status quo should be maintained there.
Okay, and what is the argument that Haryana put forward for its claim over Chandigarh?
Sir, it has also said that Chandigarh also comes near its boundary, and it has the governance structure.
Delhi also
there.
comes near Haryana's boundary, doesn't matter.
Yes, sir, but it was the shared capital that they decided to have in 1966, and sir, the Haryana government structures are there in Chandigarh only, so they think that they are rightful choice.
How is our constitution placed in it? How, if these boundaries are to be redrawn, what will be the procedure?
Sir, I guess it would be decided by the parliament. I am not very sure about it.
Will it be constitutional amendment or not? If yes...
Sir, it would be constitutional amendment, but by simple majority.
Which article, which schedule it will be?
Sir, I am not very sure, but I think it would be under Article 2 and 3 only. That is Article 2 would do redrawing the boundaries that is there of states.
And will it be special majority or simple majority?
No, sir. If it is done in parliament, it would be a simple majority only.
Will Rajya Sabha will have some special powers or role in it?
Sir, I think it would be passed by simple majority by both the houses of parliament.
Fine. So,
Shivani, I think you remember what are the provisions in Article 51 of the Constitution?
Article 51, yes sir, it deals with international relation for India. That it says that India should maintain a peaceful relations with all the countries and should try to resolve the dispute by arbitration method.
And should contribute in international peace and tranquility.
Yes, sir.
So why weren't we making active efforts to contribute in peace and tranquility in Ukraine?
Yes, sir. The government has continuously said that it would be glad if it gets a chance to contribute in a peacemaking process. But sir, I guess the conditions are such that even if government is trying, the opportunities are not being exploited properly.
Few years ago, we enthusiastically announced link to the West policy.
Yes.
But now the government policy has perhaps shifted. It is getting de-linked now. And we are again linking to Eastern economies, whether it is Middle East or Russia or maybe South Korea, etc. But we are not paying serious attention to our relationship with the West.
Sir, with Western countries, I think we have good relations. Currently, every country is trying to pursue India. But sir, with Eastern country, I think it would be better for India to initiate because India is a bigger power in that sense. And sir, India is initiating for with its look east or act east policy now with making multimodal transport system and BIMSTEC. It is trying to penetrate with ASEAN region. So, sir, I guess
we are having very troubled relationship with our immediate neighbors also.
Yes, sir.
If we observe neutrally that if there is a country which is having troubles with all the neighbors except one or two, so what kind of image we are portraying or managing?
Sir, if we talk about China and Pakistan, I think it is their fault and not ours.
Of course, everybody says that it is neighbor's fault, not mine. But if a neutral observer looks at it.
Sir, I think I would still say that aggression on part of China and the non-state actors that are driven into our country by Pakistan, they actually bring aggression. So the relations there is faulty on their parts. And for rest of part like some discontent with Nepal or Bangladesh, I think India should work with them too.
Do you think to encourage domestic industries, we should only motivate people by making loud comments like Atmanirbhar campaign? Atmanirbhar is a very loud word in a globalization period.
Sir, Atmanirbhar has talked about self-reliant, but it has not said that we would...
Vocal for local means you are boycotting the foreign goods.
Sir, it is for strengthening the supply chains within the country, but we have always said that we would maintain good relations and good trade relations with other countries also. Atmanirbhar Bharat was not a protectionist measure by the government, rather it was opening more industries and domestic front to making self-reliant in times of COVID.
But the facts are not proving what you believe. For last 5-6 years or maybe 10 years, industrial growth rate has remained subdued in spite of all the big words, startup, make in India, whatnot.
Yes, sir.
But the manufacturing sector, the industrial sector is not turning up. It's still very subdued. Credit flow to manufacturing is low. There is big data, huge numbers are looking in the financial balance sheet of FDI and foreign portfolio investment. But actual FDI is not taking off. What are we doing exactly is basically, don't you think that we are in a process of self-appeasement?
So self-appeasement, I would beg to differ. I think that we are trying hard to maintain a self-reliant economy. That's why we are using these terms, and we are trying to motivate the startups. The startup rate has really increased in past 10 years. Then with digitization also, the economy has seen a growth, and in growth rate of economy has also
No, I concede that the growth rate of economy is picked up because of better growth in agriculture, which is thanks to the God, that is monsoon rains, and better growth rate in service sector. But the targeted area is industry, and that is not picking up.
Sir, right now I think some disruptions due to COVID and the international scenario also it is there. But sir,
Okay, that means you are happy with the state of affairs of economy.
sir, not exactly. I wish that economy gains a pace really fast and.
Okay, nice, Shivani. Thank you.
Shivani, where do you identify yourself? As a Bihari, as a Punjabi, as a more states you have resided in. You have also stayed in Agra, so as a UPite.
Yes, ma'am.
So where do you identify yourself?
Ma'am, I identify myself as an Indian only.
Okay. So are you still in touch with your Bihari roots?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Can you speak one paragraph in your own language?
I do not continuously regularly speak it, so I may sing a song for you which my mother taught me.
Can you introduce yourself?
In Bihari? हमर नाम शिवानी छै. हम मुजफ्फरपुर जिला से के निवासी हती और हम अपन ग्रेजुएशन बीबी के डीएवी कॉलेज से कर ली है.
ठीक है. So as a student of political science, can you compare politics of Bihar and politics of Punjab?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the politics in Bihar is very much caste based. Still it is caste based, as we say that in India we do not vote cast our vote but vote our caste. So that very much is true in Bihar. In Punjab, caste is not that much of a factor. Rather, religion plays a role, but that too minutely. Development is quite a big criteria in Punjab elections.
And do you support simultaneous elections?
I think that simultaneous elections are good idea if we have sufficient resources, but seeing that these constraints that sometimes our assembly get dissolved earlier, and then it can be a difficult choice to make right now in India.
But what will be the benefits
of simultaneous elections? I think firstly the resources would be saved if once and for all the elections are done once in 5 years for state as well as center. Secondly, ma'am, I think these campaigns that the government is continuously in campaigning mode as well as the opposition, that would subside, so we can focus on development much more. There would be constructive debates in parliament on certain other issues rather than these political ill wills and things.
Okay. So tell me, if you are posted in a district and I ask you, what 2 steps will you take in the field of education and in the field of health?
Ma'am, in the field of education, I think I would promote the enrollment ratio because it is a problem currently. Secondly, I would ensure that midday meals that we offer.
It's already been done. So enrollment is already above 90%.
Yes, ma'am.
And midday meal is already into operation. Tell me something what you will start or what you will do.
I think I will promote adults education also because that is lagging currently. And for reaching to 100% literacy, that would play a good role.
200% literacy means?
100%.
100%.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me, like you have been associated with Doodle Art, Kora Kagaz Club. What are these?
Ma'am, Kora Kagaz Club was a club in my college. In this club, I was the secretary of the club and I dealt with the implementation part. So we used to collect the papers from notebooks that are usually done for assignment, and files are submitted for assignment, and then they keep on lying in the staff rooms. So we used to collect those files and copies, take out those papers which were in usable conditions, making them symmetrically arranged. Then we used to send it for making copies. The college was providing funds for making copies. Then we used to collaborate with any nearby schools where underprivileged children studied. So we used to distribute
And what's
it
doodle
there.
art?
Doodle art is, ma'am, actually a free flow of art. It is unrestrained and unorganized form of art. We can do anything in it, from making a flower to botanical art to any sophisticated thing. So it is just a form of art.
Can you, as a student of PSIR, compare doodle art with any concept of political science?
So, ma'am, there is a type of doodle art that is mandala art. So, in mandala art, there is a core, and around that core, we form some designs which are usually symmetrical in nature.
I want you to compare doodle art, the unrestricted nature of doodle art, to a concept of political science. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you, Shivani.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Shivani. What I can see from your biodata is that you studied science till class 12th.
Yes, sir.
But then you decided to take humanities paper
Yes, sir.
instead of trying to go for medical entrance or
Yes.
engineering. Why so?
Sir, I had bio, so medical line was open for me. I didn't have maths. But at that time, firstly, sir, I just got attracted towards the civil services by knowing from my cousin. And secondly, sir, I felt that I would not be able to deal with blood, so I thought that arts would be a good idea for me.
Okay. If you take two states, Punjab and Bihar, and if you compare agriculture,
Yes, sir.
so what are similarities and dissimilarities in agriculture of Bihar and Punjab?
Sir, the crops would be the similarities, that is rice and wheat are grown at both the places majorly. And sir, dissimilarities would be that the farmers' condition in Bihar is little poorer in financial terms as well as in developmental sense. The farmers are richer in Punjab state.
Okay. Punjab is also in the news with respect to drugs, right? Drug cases and all
Yes,
this,
sir.
right? So what are the reasons why this kind of drug abuse and drug cases are there in Punjab?
Sir, Punjab is a border state, so there is a supply of drugs from and narcotics from the borders. And sir, secondly, I think the youth in Punjab, they have a very rich background, so they can afford those costly drugs. That is also a factor. Sir, thirdly, the peer group that they have in Punjab, sir, when they are in contact with the seniors and seniors are taking it, they are naturally drawn towards it. So it keeps on going with generations.
Which are the backward areas of Punjab comparatively, state-wise? Which are the backward areas?
Sir, outskirts of major cities are usually backward.
Can you name any district or in terms of comparatively? I'm talking in terms of economic development. Can you name any district?
Sir, I think nearby Amritsar there is Ajnala and Batala that are backward.
Okay. Let's say if you're posted there as a DM,
Yes, sir.
so what steps you'll take to develop that area?
Sir, as I have seen, I would first develop their infrastructure, that is roads and the health sector in those areas that they do not have easy health access. And
But will that improve the livelihood of the people?
sir, for improving livelihood, I'm not sure what I would be able
like
to
for
do.
example, your backwardness, you said that if you will go for infrastructure development, healthcare and all. What about the livelihood of the people there?
Sir, I think for livelihood, I would be able to aware them about the programs run by government for self-reliance, like Startup India, or taking a loan for starting a business. But sir, personally, what I would be able to do, I am not very sure about it.
What is community reserve?
Community reserve is an area which belongs to the community, and they have the ownership and they conserve the nature in those areas.
What is conservation reserve?
Sir, they are under the ownership of state with same purpose of conserving the nature.
Can you name any community reserve of Punjab?
Sir, Keshopur Miani.
Keshopur Miani.
I'm not very sure, sir, but
Where is it located?
sir, it is located on near Punjab Himachal border.
No, what is the name of the area?
Sir, I'm not sure.
You're not sure about it? But it was in the news recent time. Do you know why it was in news? Keshopur Miani?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So Shivani, is it correct to state that directive principles of state policy, which are contained under Part 4 of Indian Constitution, is a criminal waste of space?
Sir, I think it is for the purpose of welfare state that we have currently, and for promoting
they are directives,
socio.
they are just like poetry.
Sir, they are for they promote the socio-economic development criteria. So they are actually backed by public opinion, and they lay down a foundation on what government can work in that direction.
But Shivani, what use is it to have any directives in a document called Constitution which are non-enforceable? What is the use?
Sir, Dr. Ambedkar had in assembly said that these can be enforced when the state have that much of resources. So I guess they laid it down for that purpose only, that when the resources would be available, they could be enforced.
All right. Now, doodle art is one of your hobbies, am I right?
Sir.
What do you mean by the word doodle?
Sir, doodle actually means simpleton, that is foolish.
Can you just further, no, exactly, foolish. Or rather, can you say scribble
Yes, sir,
mindlessly?
scribbling.
Does that resonate with your personality?
Sir, it was actually an earlier meaning of it since 16th century, but sir, I guess in 21st century it has acquired its own space and it has gained professional acclamations also.
Very good, Shivani, very good.
Thank you, sir.
In terms of relationships with Taiwan,
Yes.
we are negotiating free trade agreements, correct?
Yes.
Now, what is the current status of our relationship with Taiwan? Do we have a full-fledged diplomatic relations?
No, sir. Sir, we do not have a full-fledged relations, but we have cultural ties, and some cultural organizations are running there as well as in India, and we are trying to take the relation on a step forward.
But we have a neighbor like China, and we do not have an appreciable trade with Taiwan. So how do you capture this gesture of supposedly entering into an FTA with Taiwan? Would it not completely destroy whatever the semblance of relationship which we have with China? Why antagonize?
Sir, I guess China is already in a very aggressive mood, so we would be containing its aggression by continuing an FTA with it.
All right, very good. Now you have a lot of regional banks, Shivani, and these regional banks again are touted to completely boot out the Bretton Woods babies. How do you react to this statement?
Sir, those Bretton Woods banks or such other world organizations, they are often accused of being dominated by the Western countries. So these regional organizations would play a good role in making those organizations much more responsible and democratic.
Very good. As again a student of PSIR, did you have the opportunity to look into UN Charter?
Sir, I had read it, I guess, a year ago.
But that's okay. You have actually looked at it, right? You are also aware of the fact that the custodian of international peace and security is Security Council?
Yes.
What in the world can you actually label an organization called Security Council when NATO has led the entire Russia-Ukraine crisis? What is the relevance? Let's shut the shop. It's a criminal waste of money. United Nations. What do you have to say on this?
Sir, I guess United Nations is actually at not at fault, but it could play a good role, but it is also the
By
only
remaining
hope.
silent, mute spectator.
Sir, it is right now that only, but it is the only hope also. It can only promote peace if countries take decision to do so.
Excellent. Last question, Shivani. Dalit perspective on Indian national movement has received sort of mixed bag of reactions.
Yes.
So in which spectrum are you at? Do you appreciate the active involvement of Dalits in the Indian national movement, or do you think the involvement of Dalits per se has been a dud affair?
Sir, I think Dalits played their role very well, and that was the time only when they not only brought the nationalist sentiment but also tried to uphold their identity and bring themselves forward. So, sir, their role cannot be undermined.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Shivani. Shivani, you must have noticed that you are the candidate who has come just after lunch, and you know how the food work. I somehow missed your conversation with ma'am. Can you just give me chronologically the question ma'am asked and you answered?
Sir, I will try. Sir, I guess ma'am first asked me about politics in Bihar and Punjab, for which I said that Bihar has caste politics and Punjab is based mostly on developmental grounds. Then ma'am asked about doodle art and Kora Kagaz Club. No, sir. First she asked about Kora Kagaz Club, for which I replied that I was the secretary and what I did for that club. And then there was a discussion on doodle art, after which she asked me to compare doodle art with politics, and I could not do that.
Fine, Shivani. Nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You can go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Take a seat, Shivani. Shivani, your interview is on 19th of May.
Yes, sir.
So you probably the last day or somewhere around that. And you have plenty of time with you, right? It's going to be your first interview at the UPSC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me, Hatalo mask? Yes. You're happy with your performance, or you believe that there are areas you need to work?
Sir, this is my first mock interview, so I don't know, my mouth was very dry initially and I was getting a little nervous. By the end of it, I was little comfortable.
Right. And how about the content thing? You believe that the question being asked, you were ready with those areas? Now, obviously, the same question will not be asked. That's never been our claim. But the areas we touch, you believe that you're prepared for those areas?
Sir, I had prepared, but I could not answer that well. I was lacking in articulation.
See, Shivani, overall, our understanding about your candidature is that you're a wonderful candidate. You carry yourself well. You're prepared well on most areas, especially on optional and the background subject that you have worked definitely. Coming to specifics, your entry is good. Sitting posture by and large is good. Voice level is good. You carry a wonderful smile all through the interview, which is a nice thing to do. There are flip sides of it. I'll be coming to that a little later, but overall it creates a kind of an environment in the board which is generally a very welcoming environment, and candidates end up getting benefit of it. Also, your eye contact is good. Flow by and large is okay. Right. The thing I was mentioning was that the smile is fine, but at a few places it appears that you try and portray yourself as a cute little girl, that kind of a stem, which is nice. There'll be very senior members who will be very happy looking at somebody who's looking like their granddaughter or something. But usually you get a toffee or a chocolate in return, not really the civil services appointment.
Sir, I don't know why I'm smiling. I don't smile that much. It's just naturally coming now.
For most part of it, it is good. So don't worry about it. But at a few places, it should appear also. I'm not saying erase it and do it. But at a few places, it should also appear that if necessary, you can have that kind of a conviction, firmness. That aspect you have to display at least on one or two occasions. It will be through obviously certain facial gestures, but also on certain topics which are close to your heart, you can actually firmly through your verbal and non-verbal communication mention that you're not just only a smiling I don't want to use the word doll, but you're getting the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
I want you to portray yourself as a mature person as well. I'm not at all saying erase it, but that maturity aspect has to be hammered, right? And you have to find a way how will you do it, because that will add to the total evaluation of yours. It is already very, very good, right? Other things in general are in control. I don't have anything else to add in terms of the content part. Even the presence of mind was there. Most students fumble when such a thing is posed to repeat all the question. But you were able to more or less recall all them, which effectively means the presence of mind is there. So you're doing well on most fronts. These were the small suggestion. I'm sure you'll take care of these.
Yes.
Okay, and use the time, whatever time you have, since it is a lot of time, in revising wherever it is required. right? All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.